Well, hello and welcome to Wednesday Evenings Chat with Louise. This time I'm going to talk about embracing my grey hair. I actually started getting a few grey hairs when I was 18 years old. But at the time, I'd started working in hairdressers as a Saturday girl when I was 13. So I actually really didn't faze me because my hair colour was changing on such a rapid rotation that I never even really thought about grey hair. I tend to gravitate from this style or to a bob, and we did lots of colouring competitions and things like that, and if anybody wanted to practice I was always up for it, so that was really easy. My grandma had got beautiful white hair, and I always thought if that was what was going to happen to me, that's where I'd like to go, if you like. But it's funny because as you get older and the prospect of growing grey comes along, I actually think there's a lot of stigma attached to it as well. And I was it was COVID, and everybody else was embracing their grey and letting it all grow out. And you wouldn't believe it, I'm in the caravan while the rest are at the barn conversion is at a big standstill, and I'm dyeing my hair that I'd bought online because I was resolutely refusing to give in. And that would have just been the ideal time to do it. But no, I had to wait another 2 years and then decided to go completely cold turkey and let it grow out. And I must admit, it was quite funny. I did look a little bit like a badger. In fact, one of the comments I found after I grew it out, and I suppose I'm quite a confident person in how I look. I have a very particular style and I know how I want to look and how I want it to be. So if somebody doesn't like that, there's a bit of me that's a bit like, oh well, that's up to you. As long as I'm happy, that's all that matters. But I got a little bit floored by people's reactions to me. All the women, I think everybody just said, oh, how much they loved it. But it was men's reactions that was very different. First chap I hadn't seen for a while, where I used to work, turned around and said to me, oh my God, you're as grey as a badger. And I didn't mind, that was quite funny. But I noticed more and more people were so shocked by it. And I think the one that really got me was the day I was talking to somebody that I discovered, I'd only just met them, it was a man same age as me, and we were talking about people we went to school with, and I was talking about somebody else that I knew, a lady that's exactly the same age but still dyes her hair. And he went, what? You're the same age? No, you can't be. And I looked, and then I saw he actually looked at me rather than my hair, and I was starting to realise how prejudged you are. And it really kind of floored me a little bit. And I also started to realise that, again, it was this thing, it was like when I talked about menopause last week, you almost become invisible. Suddenly everything about your features fades, your eyebrows fade, your skin tone fades, your hair colours going, and this is what we associate with aging. And it's very easy to see how people's preconditioned ideas don't look at you anymore. They just look at the outer layer and suddenly go, old, and you're written off as being old. So yeah, I really struggled with this for a little while. Was I tempted to go and recolour it? No, because to be honest with you, the freedom, I was getting to the stage where I'd got a flipping landing strip down the middle of my parting within 2.5 weeks. It was so noticeable to my dark colour, if you like, that I didn't want to go back to that. Not the chemicals that are going on your hair. And I've had a lifetime of colour in my hair. So I wasn't prepared to do that, but I did have to really sit with myself and really think about how much people's responses and attitudes towards me mattered, how I felt in myself, and then I decided to embrace it. So I went and looked at my wardrobe and realised that everything that I was wearing was geared up to somebody with a really reddy gold brown colour hair. So I had a lot of browns in my wardrobe, a lot of oranges, a lot of warm autumn colours. And the realisation was I wasn't really that anymore. I'm actually quite lucky because I'm blue-eyed and quite fair-skinned. Yes, I do have pink undertones, which would make me more of a cool colour, but I can get away with some of the warm. I do come in fairly neutral. So if you ever get a chance to have, you know, colour analysis and anything like that, nothing's set in stone. But the best way to do is if you hold something up to your face and the shadows either change or they retract or they come forward, basically it's easy to tell what makes you look better. And it is just a case of sometimes just holding something by your face and thinking, does that make me look brighter, more awake, a better colour, or does it make me look like I need a week in bed and sleep to catch up? So that's just a little tip on whether colour makes you, how it makes you feel, because often we have things in our wardrobes and I find that you'd look at something and you love it, absolutely love it, but you put it on and then you choose something else and you always go back to the ones that you love, and you then got to say to yourself, well, why do I love those? So I had been what I can only class as an anti-pink person. I actually detested the colour pink, never worn it all my life. So in this new era of being silver grey, I was like, oh, grey. Never worn a grey before. Never worn grey. Never worn pink. Never worn. So it was really good fun actually to be able to go through my wardrobe, start to buy clothes that I love and made me feel well. And yes, I do love my colour now. It's quite interesting because I do have a bit of a black dark streak there and all my sides are edged in dark. But hey, that's just part of it, and I'll embrace it as it goes. And I think I'll always keep it this length because it's so easy. All I do now is wash it and dry it on a daily basis. Don't even use conditioner half the time. But I do have to give a shout out to these products. Yeah, White Hot Hair, I love them. And this one that makes me laugh because it's called Shushing Cream. So it's just like a little, it just separates the hair a bit, smells gorgeous. They do help to brighten your hair. I probably use the brightening one, the Boost, only once a week. It's not like I smoke or I'm in a smoky atmosphere or anything like that. And I find it stays quite silvery. So I hope if that's something you've been thinking about, that transition, don't let people's attitudes stop you. There's a whole new world out there, and people, especially women, will say to me, oh, people will pay good money to have grey hair. And I get that 19 and 20-year-olds, some of them can look utterly amazing with a grey type of hair. But there's lots of different toners you can put on, and I think it's really fun. So I hope you feel inspired to do it yourself. Look at it as a really lovely, positive life change. And it's not about age. And if people have those preconceived ideas, that's their problem. Life is for living. Well, as you can see, I started off life as a blonde. That's me and my dad, which is quite unusual really, because I've got 3 sisters and they all had really jet black hair. We always used to joke that I was the milkman's, but Dad was a dairy farmer, so he actually was the milkman. This is one of the few pictures I could find which is my natural colour. So you can see I did actually go quite a dark brown, though I did still have those red sort of undertones as well. I did go through a phase of having 3 blonde stripes in the front of my hair. I used to dye those pink and purple. But then this is where I was dyeing my hair. And you can see it started to get darker and darker and darker. And then this is where I decided to grow it out. And I think you can see by my expression how much I was enjoying that phase. But now embracing my full silverness and loving it.